least we don't have a hurricane. Always something to celebrate. It's looking tough down there. Well, welcome to our final Return to Learn task force meeting before school starts. This is a really kind of exciting meeting for us. It's our first half an hour meeting, and we're keeping it to a half hour at this point because we really want to focus on what we're doing with our students and parents and how we're bringing everyone back to learning this fall. So I'm going to keep this agenda really light. I don't have a presentation. I just wanted to give a little bit of an update. I know that our teachers know what's been going on, but obviously we had our Institute Week last week where our teachers were back with us, doing a lot of planning and professional learning around returning to learn this fall, and talking through systems and schedules and procedures and doing some curriculum articulation, talking about students, talking about social emotional well-being, rolling out SEL check-in apps, and talking through a lot of logistical and curricular issues. And this week, we've been doing a lot of final touches on the insides of our buildings, getting our classrooms fully set up. Our maintenance and custodial crew have been working overtime to make sure that our desks are set with our face shields and 6 feet apart, and door handles have sanitizing covers on them. And, there's just a lot of work that's been going into making sure that our buildings are ready for the kids. And I know our teams have been working a lot on their remote learning plans. Our administrators conducted 2 webinar orientations last night for parents, both which were very well attended and very well received. The administration did a great job of not only presenting information, but also answering questions. It's pretty amazing how far we've come since March with Zoom technology and how we're managing all that. And I have to say, in terms of teamwork, I couldn't be more proud of the 2 building leadership teams really helping each other out. If you weren't able to attend, as one building was presenting, the other building leadership team was managing question and answer and kind of supporting the conversation, which to me is about as good as you can get in terms of teamwork and collaboration. And it's just another example of why Lake Bluff is such a special place. So I was really proud of that last night. Really glad that our parents engaged with us. Those webinars will go out. They'll be sent out to parents today, along with some FAQ documentation of questions that they weren't able to get to in the meeting. And our administrative team has our final meeting this afternoon prior to the beginning of school. Although we talk all the time, we actually are getting together for our final meeting today before students come back. And for me, I've been doing a lot of articulating with the health department, with other districts in Lake County, as we do and have been doing since March. And it's been interesting to hear some of the districts who have started in person already or who are starting remote. Obviously, both situations have had, as we know, some hiccups to overcome. We know that Zoom had a nationwide outage on the first day of school for some districts, which was difficult, especially for those that were going fully remote. My own son's district had some issues with Zoom bombing already, and so they took a day off from synchronous instruction, but they are back at it this morning after some additional security and authentication. In terms of in-person, we are starting to see the rubber hit the road with the guidance and how we can approach when a student has a symptom, and making those phone calls home and having parents come and get their students and just kind of engaging with that process. And what I will say is I'm just really proud to be an educator right now, because I see a lot of problem solving going on. I see teachers problem solving and thinking through lots of issues, administrators doing the same thing, community members providing support and feedback. And it's just a really, as challenging as it is, this is what we are all got into this for. We are here to help kids and help our communities. And many of us are seeing this from both sides, as parents and as teachers. And it's been really interesting to be able to see that and to be able to learn from each other. And I have to say, if we were in a time to deal with a pandemic, having the internet and having the ability to talk with each other and communicate and collaborate over the internet and not have to be together physically has been pretty amazing and an amazing resource for all of us in schools. So with that, I am going to open it up to any other celebrations or any other good news or any other questions that anyone would like to ask as we approach our first days here, and we can talk through them.
I'll ask a question. Like you mentioned, Lisa, with your son with the Zoom, I know people have kind of been talking about that. I hear the buzz in the buildings. Are we set up as much as we can be, I guess, possible for that security?
So we were talking through it with our building administrator, one building administrator yesterday, and we will talk again this afternoon about some of the precautions that we can take. Definitely the tools that Zoom has at their disposal are pretty good in terms of utilizing a waiting room. We are putting out expectations for students to use their full name in their profile, and then you would only be admitting those students for cameras to be on so that we can see the students. You know, the one thing that we are definitely dealing with is a smart generation of technology savvy kids. And so it wasn't a widespread issue that the district was dealing with, and they were able to handle it quickly. But our Clever account is something that I don't think that they were using something like that. And so we are already there with that. So lots of precautions already in place. You know, authenticating our users, making sure everyone is who they're supposed to be. And obviously, as we've been talking with parents, that's something that we've really been re-emphasizing too, is just, you know, we'll treat the misbehavior as we would if they were in school. You know, it's something that our kids need to be held to high expectations for. This is, as we've kind of put in some of our documentation, some that will go out later this week around tech expectations. The virtual classroom should be treated just like the regular classroom. You know, it's should be a safe space for all of our learners. It should be a safe space for building relationships and trust, because we know that's how learning happens. So that will be communicated along with some more specific tech expectations on Friday to parents. Good question. Yeah.
Maybe Can I add on to that piece? We did get a question through the elementary school Q&A last night in which a parent was asking if they could use their at-home device to log on to Zoom meetings. And so I think that we need our students to be logging on through their school issued device for a variety of reasons. And one of them is really the safety and authentication and the security that we do have on the devices. And that also helps us to prevent outside people from logging in. So there's a chance that that device would come up with a different name and the teacher might not know. And so I just wanted to add that in for the parent that was asking about an at-home device. So we really do need students using Chromebooks and or iPads to log in.
Thanks, Kelly. What other thoughts do we have, or any other questions or celebrations at this point?
I just wanted to give a thank you to the administrative team. We had some really great in-service last week. They were cognizant of time that we needed with preparation and collaboration with teachers, as well as providing some support for some of the SEL things and dealing with, you know, the situation that we've been in. So it was really a great in-service week. And especially because it was, you know, virtual in the building, but it was really a great thing. So I know a lot of thought and care went into planning and thinking about all the different pieces that are moving together. So on behalf of the teachers, we thank you for all of your time and efforts. We're so appreciative that you are putting students first and thinking what is the best for our whole learning community. So thank you.
Thanks, Anne. It was a good week. It was great to see everyone back, even if some people we were only seeing virtually. It was really full of great energy. And again, just reiterated to me what a great place this is, what a great district that does keep kids first and thinking about the best things that we can do for our students, for sure.
I just wanted to say a quick thank you. I have an interesting role as a community member, a parent, and a teacher. And I just have seen so many people come together and show patience and kindness. And I think that that is something we really have to remember throughout all of this. The administration has done that for the teachers. The community has done that for the school and the administration and the teachers, and just shown patience and kindness. And I think we should just keep that up. And I'm just really proud to be a Lake Bluff member in all sorts of respects. So thank you to everybody and all your time.
Thanks, Vanessa. I could not agree more. And as we all see this in different districts too, hasn't been the case in some places. And we definitely recognize that. And I think, when you're on social media, I use Twitter a little bit, and you kind of can see some frustration and some communities where things aren't going quite that way. And I do appreciate very much the fact that Lake Bluff is a community of kind people who truly want the best for everybody. And so thanks for bringing that up.
I'm going to build on that. One of the things that I was hoping to share today, we're doing so much in terms of processes and procedures. And I know that that is the information that our parents want, that our teachers want, that our students want. We're also, I think, grounded in structure and routine. And when we enter new territory, I want to build up the expectations and provide as much information as possible. And I've really been trying to take that lens. But I think the balance and other side of that is the theme that we're working through this year at the elementary school, just this idea of being a rainbow in someone else's cloud. And so I think that ties nicely to what Vanessa is sharing, that, we're definitely coming in focused so that we're following the rules and doing the right things and adhering to that. And I think you can get the blinders on, and in some ways that can be helpful, but we also want to sort of pause and notice. And it certainly fills your cup to do something nice for someone else, or just to acknowledge we don't know what someone's morning like was before they came into school, or their weekend, or what's ahead of them. And so I'm really working hard, and it's kind of a philosophy that I've always believed in. But if we can all try to be that rainbow in someone else's cloud, I think it's going to keep us moving forward, and it's going to keep things positive, and it's going to make sure that our schools and logging on to Zoom meetings and all of the things, the ways that we're interacting together, are positive and helpful and productive. And as I look around the screen today, each of your faces are ones that are a rainbow in my cloud, and moments that might be tough and difficult. So just want to put that out there and thank all of you on this team and anyone that is watching today.
Thanks, Kelly. And speaking of that, I realized that we haven't gone through the SEL check-in, which was new to our teachers last Friday, but this might be a great place to talk a little bit about that too. Tracy, I'm going to put you on the spot. Would you be willing to talk a little bit about that check-in app that's going to be happening?
Absolutely. And Andy can feel free to jump in anytime as well. Andy presented to our staff members on Friday about a brand new app that we have built in partnership with LEAD. This app will provide a daily check-in to all students in our district, whether they're learning at home, in person, or within that hybrid schedule. Each teacher or grade level will have a link to the app, and it takes just under a minute for the students to go through and answer a series of questions about how they're feeling that day and whether they would like a staff member to check in with them. And then that information will go to either their assigned classroom teacher or to a grade level representative to look through that list and determine which students might need something a little bit extra. We'll also be getting data school-wide and district-wide to look at student trends, and then to look at weekly or monthly if students are repeatedly reporting, negative feelings. Are there additional supports that we need to put in place on a regular basis? So a really big shout out and thank you to Andy and LEAD in helping us coordinate this for our students.
Happy to do it. Thanks. That was a great summary, Tracy.
Yeah, we definitely all recognize that not only was the spring difficult, but coming back to school in either fashion, either with us or remotely, will be challenging for our kids because it'll be different no matter what. And so what we really want to do is make sure all of our kids feel connected to our school, to each other, to their teachers, and are feeling a sense of belonging and accomplishment throughout this year, regardless of what challenges it may present. So that's going to be a great tool for us. The teachers, we had teachers in on the development of the tool along with LEAD, and it was presented to our whole faculty last Friday, as Tracy said, and it was really, really well received by our staff. They're excited to be able to have that tool to be able to support our kids a little bit better. And it's really impressive. I think it'll be very impactful for our kids. As long as Jay is joined in on the conversation, I want to make sure he hears the shout out for the facilities and all the things that have been happening to make sure that we are ready for our kids coming back. As I walk in the buildings every day, there's some new feature or some new personal protective equipment or safety feature that's implemented and installed. And I just see those guys working constantly to make sure that we're set and ready. And I know we will be. So thanks, Jay, for all that hard work.
I would echo that thank you, and also extend a thank you to some of our staff members that have volunteered to come in and help finish up some of the manual labor. I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt today, I'll admit, but that's in part because we're finishing up the floor taping and the signage throughout the building, and we have some staff members coming in to help. We like to pick the really hot days to do that, but fortunately our air conditioning is working well.
Yeah, if you want to see some evidence of that work, just run over and see the stage at Lake Bluff Middle School, because it is full of tables and chairs and desks and all sorts of items that don't look like they belong on a stage, but they're there for now. Anything else that anyone would like to share or talk through today? We had a board meeting this week, and then our next board meeting, we will have a discussion around our intergovernmental agreement with the library that will continue. And I think that's another really great example of a community partnership that we have that's extended to all of our students in Lake Bluff and Knollwood. So that will continue. And additionally, our librarians in school have been planning for lots of different interesting and fun ways to get out into the community this year for all of the kids in Lake Bluff and Knollwood. So lots of planning around how we can get books in kids' hands and make sure that we keep reading all the way through the year. Teachers, I'm practicing wait time, as you can tell. If there isn't anything else, I don't want to keep everyone, but I did want to just bring us back together. Some of our members will not be joining us as of the beginning of the school year, and so we will send out another invite. This meeting time will be before kids get to school, which is good. We may try for every other week just to check in. And this group will be used in the future to kind of look at any survey information, any data that's coming out, any feedback that we're getting from community teachers, students. We are going to be sending out some quick checks to the community around some of the big areas of our programming this year. Items around how materials and resources are being used, if kids have what they need to do their learning, how much time kids are spending on task or outside of the school day. Just some of those items that came up on our survey in the spring that we know that everyone's concerned about. And They're very, very quick. There's not a lot of narrative because we don't want to sift through a bunch of comments to be able to get to the trends. They're just quick Likert scales. You know, I agree a lot or I disagree, and kind of along that continuum, so that as a group, we can have different groups looking at that information and see how we can keep improving. So that will be data that will be available to this team. As well as, of course, you know, we will appreciate anyone just kind of bringing their own thoughts and perspective based on conversations that you've had. That data will also be available to our leadership teams, teachers, and our administrative team to keep looking through as well.
I just want to, before we do log off, just for all of our LBES, the Lake Bluff Elementary School families, you will be receiving communication from the grade levels, classroom teachers today. This communication will be in regards to our Meet the Teacher experiences that are happening on Monday afternoon. Teachers will also be sharing schedules within that. So I know that families that tuned in last night got to see a portion of a schedule. And so that was really to illustrate kind of what the day would look like for our in-person and remote from home, in-person remote at school and remote from home learners. And we just want to make sure that families have information and know what to anticipate and expect in regards to the schedule. So those emails will be coming out later this afternoon. So be on the lookout.
Thanks for that, Kelly. Any other announcements? Okay, folks, you guys did great work this summer. Thank you so much for your partnership. And I'm looking forward to a great year.
Thank you.
We'll see you teachers on the 31st.
Woohoo.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.